Hello and welcome to How to Make More Sales with me, Anna Payne, supporting you to make more sales in a way that feels good for you and your clients. If you're ready for more sales, more impact, more success and more money on your terms, you're in the right place. Hello. Today I am talking about one of the simplest ways you can create sales momentum with an easy yes offer. Whether you sell B2C, B2B or B2E, by which I mean entrepreneurs and solo founders, by the way, whichever group you sell to, when you are selling a higher value service, program, package, consultancy or course, people will very often need a smaller first step before they feel ready to buy the main thing. And giving people that smaller first step that they can really increase your conversions and sales. If you don't have this at the moment, I would say that you are probably missing out on lots of potential sales. So let's unpack that today and see what that might look like in your business. I'm going to walk you through how an easy yes offer can reduce friction in the buying process, what that might look like, and how you can make it work in your business. We are going to look at the two different types of easy yes offer that are working right now, common pitfalls, mistakes, things to avoid, and I'll also share some examples from my own business. So we'll make it a really practical episode. Right, let's get into it. In order to buy, buyers need to feel, first of all, like they want what you're selling, but they also need to feel safe to buy. The bigger the investment you are asking them to make, the bigger the decision feels, the greater the need is to feel safe, and the more important trust becomes. So somebody might love your content, they might read your emails, they might listen to your podcast, they might follow you on socials, but they still need to take a smaller first step before they feel ready to invest further in your offer. Now, if I think about me as a buyer, sell me something that is £99 and promises me a relevant, desirable, quick win. Sure, £99. I'll probably give it a go without too much thought. Pitch me your 3K program. I'm actually going to think really hard about that. Is it right for me? Is it the right time? Are you the right person? Is this the right offer? All of those questions. And I'm far less likely to say yes. Now, good selling isn't necessarily about forcing or persuading people to buy that big 3K package. It's not about some magic combination of words that you say to make them buy it. Actually, good sales can look very different. Good sales can just mean that you're helping people to feel confident about the decision that they are making. Our job as salespeople is to remove any friction from the buying process. And we can do this in all kinds of ways. So friction might be practical, like price, timing, time, commitment, or uncertainty about what might happen next. Friction can also be emotional, such as fear of making the wrong decision, previous poor experiences, or concern that the offer might not work for their specific situation. So a smaller offer that feels much easier to say yes to because the stakes are lower, actually that can create a really helpful first step, and it gives the buyer that direct experience of how you think, how you work, and how you can help them. It also gives you the chance to understand them a bit more. And that means that you can make the next recommendation, the upsell, far more relevant, far more natural, and you're much more likely to make that conversion. So yeah, having that strong, easy yes offer just can give somebody a safer, simpler way to experience your value. It is an easy first step, and it moves them from watching and wondering and thinking, oh, is this right for me? Do I want this? Will I do this? Maybe I'll do it next time. They don't have enough information to make a confident decision, so they don't take action. But actually, with an easy yes offer, you can move them from that watching, waiting and wondering to actually taking action and knowing, because once they've had that positive first experience with you, they are, of course, far more likely to make a confident buying decision when it comes to your main offer. So an easy yes offer is a simple, paid offer that gives somebody a useful result, a quick win, and it leads them to a next step. It should be quicker to deliver than your main offer, quicker for them to get a result, and it should be a far lower price point. Right now, I think there are two main types of bridge offers that you can put to work in your business. So it can either be a diagnostic where you help the client understand what is really going on and what needs to happen next with regards to your area of expertise, or it can be a small, standalone, discrete piece of value where they get a useful result, they experience your work and build trust through that experience. So first of all, let's look at the diagnostic. This is where we would sell insight into what is going on at a relatively low cost, and then we upsell after we've delivered the insight. So the client might not yet fully understand what needs to change. Sure, they will feel the symptoms, but they may not yet see the root issue, or they may not see what is possible for them. So some sort of diagnostic, audit, review, or focus session can really help them to see what you, as the expert, can already see. You will often be able to see the gaps quickly. You can see what's missing, what needs fixing, and where the opportunities are. And that is super powerful because it makes the next step much easier for your client to understand. So then when you then say, and that's exactly what we do inside my program, that bigger offer starts to feel like it's just the next logical step because the client can now see the reason for it. And they know that they can work with you because they're already having that positive experience. You've already delivered some value. You're not trying to persuade them. You're basically showing them, you're helping them understand their own gap. You've given them insight. You've helped them pinpoint exactly what is going on in a way that maybe they haven't felt seen or understood before, or maybe they haven't been able to articulate before. But you've also showed them that there is a path ahead, that there's light at the end of the tunnel, that there's a way that you can support them, that you've supported lots of other clients in this way. And actually, there's a really natural and easy next step. There is an alternative approach. The other way that this can work is through simply giving a small, discrete piece of value. This might just be something like a short workshop, a half day of training, a real focused one-off coaching session, or a specific piece of done with you or done for you work. And the purpose is really similar. It gives people a low risk, high reward way to experience working with you. So for example, if you sell to corporates and you deliver a 1-hour workshop or a half day of training, that is a fairly low cost, low time, low risk thing for them to invest in. They then see that you are trusted, trustworthy, that you are safe, appropriate, and that you do high quality work that aligns with their organisational needs, their values, and their approach. That can then make them feel much safer. They're much more likely to bring you in as a key partner or on a higher value, longer term project. So you go from selling your 1-hour lunch and learn or your 2-hour workshop to selling your 12-week program or to selling your higher ticket consultancy. If you are a VA, maybe you do an inbox zero where you spend a morning or a day, you might need 2 days if you were working with me, but trying to get to inbox zero, or a day where you look at somebody's calendar and you time block and you make huge recommendations on how they can better manage their time and their diary. If you're a coach, maybe you talk through one specific issue or challenge, or you do some goal setting. So either way, whether it is that first type of offer, that diagnostic that helps the client see what you can see, or whether it's that value session that gives that small, discrete piece of value and creates the desire for more of the same, more value, please. The principle is the same. It is that natural bridge towards the next offer when that's appropriate. So I can give you a few different examples from my own business. So for example, right now, if you go onto my website, you can buy an hour of asynchronous coaching for £99. We have an hour together on WhatsApp, and in that time we voice note, you can send links, you can send things that you want me to review, you can ask me questions. You can book it on my website. There's a short questionnaire, and then we book in the time and we have that time together. You tell me the thing that you want help with, or the thing that you need to make a decision on, or the thing that you feel is just not working, and we'll talk about it. We will really get to the root quickly of what is going on, and I will give you my feedback and my next steps. For somebody who wants support from me, they want my insight, but they don't yet know what it's like to work with me. They've not been my client before. It's a really low risk, easy yes way of taking that first step, but it gives them that real experience of how I think, how I operate, how I work, and how much value we can create quite quickly. And actually, since I started to do these £99 sessions, I can see how easy it is to then upsell where it's appropriate. I've only started doing them in the last month. And I think of the first 5 that I did, 3 bought something else immediately within a couple of days of having done that first hour. And it was a higher value thing because I was able to say, this is the work we've been able to do in an hour. But as you can see, we're just scratching the surface on what the opportunity is. I think these are your next steps. You can go off and do that on your own, or if you want me to, I can share with you what that would look like for us to do it together. And it's so specific because I'm talking to exactly where they're at and what they want and what they need based on all of the conversations that we've had. I'd started to use this strategy years ago. My goodness, if I go back to maybe 2020 or 2021, when I first set up doing online business coaching. At that time, I made almost all of my sales on Instagram. You could work with me one-to-one for 8 weeks, and I think it was £1,200. But I didn't have a lot of previous clients, and I didn't have entry-level offers. I had a free Facebook group, and I had a bit of a community, and I'd done some networking. Some people just came straight into the program, but not enough. So I decided I was going to do these 1-hour sessions on Zoom where I would look at your Instagram and I would tell you how to make more sales, how to optimize your Instagram for sales. And when I said to people, hey, I'm making 90% of my sales on Instagram, and I said that on LinkedIn and I said that on Facebook, let's get together, let's look at your Instagram, let's get it optimized for sales. They were so easy to sell. Easy to sell, low risk, £99. And it became like a process for me because I knew exactly which order. Like, first of all, we'll look at your profile picture, we'll look at your bio, we'll look at your links and your call to action. We'll look at how the grid looks overall. We'll look at some individual posts. It became a really specific thing that I could take people through. But actually, I wasn't that was the only thing I could do. I could help them with lots of areas of their growth and their business sales. So at the end of that hour, if it had been a great call, if I felt like, yeah, this is somebody I can help, this is somebody I can work with, it was then really easy to say, it's been so great to talk to you. I can see loads of potential. I think we work really well together. Is it all right with you if I share with you what that might look like as a next step? And that worked so well. So I was charging £99 for these things at the time. And I had to set myself a limit of only doing 10 a week because they were so popular. And literally, when I put the slots out, they were selling out every week. And so I was doing 40 of them a month. And I had to cut down on that because I then was becoming so booked out with my one-to-one clients. And then over time, the business changed. I had more bigger one-to-one clients. I had other entry-level offers, and I didn't have time to do, of course, 10 one-to-ones a week. But, at the beginning of the business, that was over £4,000 of revenue just from doing these calls, which they were getting a lot of value in, but effectively they were working like a paid discovery call for me. So that's another way that I use this kind of power hour, easy yes offer strategy. People could come and they could learn something specific or get a specific problem solved quickly. And it just created trust, momentum, relationships. People would refer other people. It was such a great thing to do. And then because, of course, I was building my business and I was running out of time and starting to hit a ceiling of the time I had and how many one-to-one people I had, in 2022, I started up my membership, my sales membership. And actually, when I looked at the data from that, I could see that 60% of the people who joined that went on within 12 months to buy something else from me, something at a bigger, higher price point. So how do you make sure that you make your easy yes offer specific and valuable? Because it has to be specific and it has to be valuable. So my advice, start with one person, one problem, and one useful, desirable outcome promised. So person, problem, promise. You know that if you listen to a few of these podcasts. Avoid that sort of vague language like an hour of my time, my eyes on your business. Stuff like that on its own doesn't really mean that much. Be more specific. So the next thing I want you to think about is making sure that you're keeping the scope of what you offer contained. Absolutely give real value, but protect your energy. A good, easy yes offer should feel easy to deliver on repeat. So for example, I talked about that £99 async coaching hour that I do on WhatsApp. That works really well because it's high value for the clients, but it's also low lift and fun for me to deliver. It's on WhatsApp. I don't need to be in my office. I don't need to show up on Zoom. It's really easy for me to deliver. And actually, it converts so well into more paid offers. So that feels really good for me. I don't want to be doing 10 extra Zoom calls. That wouldn't feel good for me. It wouldn't feel worth it. I would have to charge more money and I'd have to do less of them. And that means that there's more friction and more resistance. Whereas at the moment, this just feels really fun and free and easy to do the £99 ones. Okay, so we also want to think about your easy yes offer designed as something that by default, if they are interested in this, they will also be interested in that. So whatever the purpose of your main offer is, and I would like to think you know the person, the problem, and the promised outcome of your main offer, the person and the problem should align with your main offer, but without competing with it. When you've already helped somebody, the next recommendation becomes so much easier to make because it is actually rooted in what they genuinely need. And that for me is the real epitome of sales as service. You know, you're understanding on a deeper level what your client needs and you're offering it to them. So with this approach, this kind of easy yes offer, there are definitely a few pitfalls, and some of this is learned through my own bitter experience. As always, I will share that with you. So the first is making your offer too vague. Like book an hour with me. That is much harder to buy than a named specific session with a clear outcome. So I know there's a bit of like, oh, it's bespoke and it depends what you need and that kind of thing. But try and get as specific as you can. Because remember, people are not fussy about an hour of your time or your eyes on their business. They want to know what that means. What is the transformation? What's the outcome? Second one, don't price it so low that it loses your energy. So the price should feel like a good decision for the buyer, as in it's an easy yes price, but it should also feel like a good decision for you. So for example, I talked about the power hours that I did, the Instagram, optimize your Instagram for sales power hours back in 2021. Now that would not feel like a good use of my time and my energy and my capacity for Zoom. So I stopped doing those for a while, but then I missed that. I missed the role of something like that in my ecosystem. I put some power hours in, I put them in at £500, and then every now and again I'd sell them on offer at £250, and they would always sell when I put them on offer. That was fine. But again, I didn't really want to do loads and loads of hours on Zoom. So I stopped doing them, put the price down to £99 and started to do the WhatsApp hours because it feels light and it feels easy for me. If somebody pays me £100 and we talk for an hour on WhatsApp, that feels like a great exchange of value. So number 3, do not give away so much that you negate the need for anybody to ever buy anything else from you again. And that might sound like I'm saying gatekeep. I'm not, because actually I do not believe in gatekeeping. But equally, I know, because this is what I used to do, and I used to do this in discovery calls, not even in paid calls, just give so much value. You're so desperate to give so much value that you give a huge amount of information, detail, steps, do this, do this, do this, do this, do this, without actually taking the time to talk it through properly and without any kind of context or support or implementation. And I know now with experience that for most people, actually that's a disservice because it's really hard to go off and implement that. If I'm doing this kind of easy yes entry level offer, an hour is perfect. An hour I can give some really actionable value. We can summarize, we can agree next steps, and the person can move forward and they can go away with something that feels tangible, that feels real, but also that is easy for them to implement and action and get a win from. It's not completely overwhelming. So solve the right size problem for the price point and the time that you have. Next thing to watch out for, please don't use your easy yes offer and your lower price point as a place to hide from selling your bigger offer. The bridge should support your main offer, not replace it, because you don't want to ask people for that higher ticket price point. And linked to that, do not forget your follow-up. After somebody has received that value in your entry-level offer, make sure that you are creating that clear invitation to take the next step. The discussion about what that could look like, the link to buy, the proposal, the follow-up, all of these things that are going to make it more likely that your client will buy your main thing. So it's a journey. And finally, we've talked a lot about bridge offers and making it easier for people because there's a bridge from where they are now to where you want them to get to. Main offers here, free stuff is here. Your easy yes is that bridge that crosses the divide between the two of them. But not every buyer will need that bridge. Some people will already know they are ready. They are ready for that main thing, that big thing. So make sure that that big thing is out there, that it's public, that people know what it is, they know what it does, how much it is, and that they can see it all the time. That helps them know that what's available when they want to take the next step. It also helps people who are in your world who just want to go ahead and buy it. But equally, it's kind of that real positioning thing as well, because if your program's £3,000, but all of a sudden they have an opportunity to do something with you for £150, wow, that all of a sudden sounds like a really good idea and a good investment. So it will help to sell the bridge offer as well as making sure that you do move people along to that main offer as well. So your action from today is to think about, what does this mean for you? Do you have an easy yes offer, a bridge offer in your offer suite? If not, can you create one? If you do have one, is it doing a good job? Are you promoting it? Does it convert into your main offer? Or actually, have you fallen into one of the pitfalls where you over deliver and underprice, or where you're competing with your main offer, or where actually it's not really connected to your main offer? So a bit of review and looking for any opportunities to improve. Keep it super simple, one clear offer, one clear outcome, clear on price, clear on how to buy. Person, problem, promise, then make the invitation, post about it, email your list, send personal messages, follow up with warm leads, add it to your website, add it to your email signature, pin it on social media, mention it in your conversations, all of the things that you can do, all of your sales first activities, because this can bring income into your business really quickly. As I'm recording this morning, I have already sold one of my easy yes offers just from an Instagram DM that I got from a completely cold lead who asked me a question about whether I thought I could help with something. I said, yeah, here's probably the best start point. Here's the link to buy it. They bought it. We're going to talk next week. That might be all they need from me, or that might be the start of something that goes on to become a really incredible client relationship. I don't know. But the point is that it's super easy to sell it. Super easy to deliver, gives the client lots of value, but it's also given me so much as well in terms of relationships, referrals, audience building, and real life data and insights about what is going on for people right now. And actually, if you want any help with this kind of thing, this is exactly what we're going to be focusing on inside my summer sales sprint. 30 days to bring more money into your business over the month of June. You can also book an hour with me and talk through what your easy yes offer might look like. You can find out about all of these things and more on my website, annapayne.online/everything. And as always, thank you so much for spending time with me today, for listening to the podcast. I hope you have enjoyed. I hope you found it useful. I hope you've got some actionable ideas from here. And if you have, remember, subscribe, leave me a review, and let me know on socials that you have listened. Thank you again. Thanks for spending the time. I so appreciate it. Love sharing these conversations and these ideas with you, and always love to hear your feedback afterwards as well. See you next time.